everybody. I'm Josie, and I am the marketing coordinator for the residential side at AVB. And today I am here with Ron. And Ron, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at AVB?
Hello, yes, my name is Ron Shower. I'm the service technician in our customer care division of AVB for residential construction, our homes, our condos, our townhomes.
Great. So now that I have you on the line, would you mind sharing a few tips with us since we're heading into the colder season in Michigan? Could you tell a few maintenance tips, interior, exterior, or whatever you do for our clients?
Sure. So some of the things that people need to do or be cognizant of it when it comes to the colder seasons is
Mm-hmm.
heating and cooling issues or concerns.
Okay.
So a lot of times when it gets to, say, October, November, we're certainly starting to use the heating as opposed to the air conditioning anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I typically will always recommend is, checking that furnace filter.
Okay.
You want to make sure that the furnace filters are fresh and ready to go for the winter months. Of course, the air is filtered when it's using for the air conditioner and for the furnace for heating.
Mm-hmm.
It's some things, sometimes a good idea to check and make sure there's a fresh one in it. Even if you have one of the newer ones that are typical nowadays that say that they're good for a year, if you
Mm-hmm.
have pets, even just in general, a lot of like hardwood floors, you'll see an increased amount of dust in the wintertime. So
Okay.
it's always a good idea to put a new one in to start that season. So checking that furnace filter, replacing it will help with the operation of the furnace as well as just the general comfort in the house for dust and things of that nature.
Okay.
A couple other things that are just kind of general, again, because we're into the heating months, would be
Yeah.
checking and changing the humidifier pad.
Okay.
Most homes we build today, we install a whole house humidifier on them. And what that does is during the winter, during the heating season,
Mm-hmm.
there is a water supply line that comes off of the water heater, actually, in most cases, and runs to what's called a whole house humidifier system, and it's attached to the furnace itself.
Okay.
In there is a pad. It can be a fabric type or a metal type of
Mm-hmm.
pad that water transforms or transports over the top, flows over the top of in this encased humidifier system.
Okay.
What that does is it helps to increase the amount of humidity in the house in the winter months.
Mm.
Here in Michigan, we're always playing the humidity game. It's either
Yes.
yes, it's either too humid in the summer and
Yep.
it's either too dry in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to combat that by in the summertime recommending people use a dehumidifier in their
Mm-hmm.
basements to help pull that moisture out. And in the wintertime, we are losing that humidity due to it being cold and dry. And we want to increase that humidity, and it helps to keep the comfort level in the home better.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay.
it can help the dry skin, it can help with dustiness, and just the overall quality of air in the home.
Okay.
So on the furnace, there's a humidifier system, and that pad is designed to be changed out every heating season. So I usually tell folks to check it, make a maintenance thing for the fall for humidifier pad and furnace filter,
Mm-hmm.
October, November-ish, change those both out and make sure that the water's on for your humidifier, and then keep an eye on that, making sure that it's ready to go so you
Okay.
have that humidity in the home.
Okay. That makes sense.
So one of the other things too regarding that is kind of along the same lines as the humidifier pad is making sure that you're checking the humidity level in the house.
Okay.
Um, that's probably most critical. So with the humidifier running, which only works in the heat mode or heating
Mm-hmm.
seasons, when we have
Okay.
the furnace actually on, so that's injecting this moisture throughout the house via the fan, the HVAC system.
All right.
What we have to kind of pay attention to is, again, that comfort level. And what we try to go for is between 30 and 40% relative humidity in the house.
Okay.
And that's something that can be gauged by some of the residents will have a thermostat actually on the wall that'll actually help tell you that relative humidity in the house.
All right.
And in some homes they have just it's downstairs in the basement on the humidifier. There's a dial that you turn to increase or decrease the amount of humidity.
Okay.
So what I typically will recommend to all clients, whether you have one with a thermostat or not, is to get a
Hmm.
small temperature and humidity little humidistat that you can buy anywhere, local home centers,
Okay.
battery powered, and you put them on, say, like your end table or put it on the coffee table in the living room. And what
Hmm.
that'll do is it'll actually read just the humidity and temperature in the home. And
Okay.
that's a good be able to kind of view it and see what your relative humidity is. If you're too high, you may need to adjust the humidity level down a little bit. If it's too
Okay.
low, you may need to adjust that humidity level back up a little bit. And again, that would be done by either the dial in your on your humidistat downstairs in the basement on the humidifier,
Hmm.
or in some cases, clients have a more high tech thermostat itself in the home that you'd actually be able to do that from that location.
Okay.
But it's
That's a good tip.
something. I'm sorry.
I just say that's a good tip. The humidistat, having that out if you don't have other options to be able to tell the humidity in your home.
Absolutely. So, in my own personal home, I have a whole house humidifier as well, and my adjustment knob is in the basement on my furnace.
Okay.
So I don't have the ability to look on my thermostat walking down my hallway and
Sure.
see what the relative humidity is in the house. So I have a humidistat combination thermometer that sits on our end table in our living room, and that's what
Okay.
I just view it every once in a while and see where we're at in the house.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yep. So, and some of the things that you can kind of pay attention to too, and again, this is all related to the humidity. Too much humidity in the house in the wintertime is actually a bad thing.
Okay.
We get moisture buildup on windows, window ledges.
Mm.
Um, we can have issues with so much moisture in the house that we can actually get, if you have a hardwood floor, we can get what's called tenting, or the
Okay.
the floor, the wood itself will actually swell, if you will. Cabinet doors and things like that can become sticky because the wood has absorbed that additional moisture. So those
Okay.
are some things to keep an eye on, which is why I always recommend that humidistat in the house. Be able to
Okay.
read that will help typically to combat that.
And remind us in what the humidity percentage should be that you said.
Yeah, so typically we're going to be going for a goal of between 30 and 40%.
Okay.
That's the relative humidity we were kind of reaching for. And now that will fluctuate based on the outside conditions. So
Okay.
a few years back, we had the polar vortex here in
Yep.
Michigan, and it was just bitterly cold. It was something that was
Hmm.
very unprecedented. And what we found was that some people were not paying close attention to that humidity in the house, and they didn't adjust the actual humidistats that control the amount of volume of humidity in the air. And
Okay.
they were actually having where on outside walls, say like a doorknob. I actually had a client that had a doorknob that
Hmm.
froze like a block.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Um, Tops of some window ledges that became icicles that were coming down the windows.
Wow.
And that was all due to way too much humidity for the
Okay.
conditions outside that were so bitter cold.
Sure.
So we have to, again, that's why we really need to just kind of look over, make sure that we're trying to maintain that 30 to 40%,
Hmm.
and adjust as necessary. It's not so much just set and forget. We do need to kind of
Yeah.
pay attention to it.
Okay. Oh, that's a good tip.
Yep. So a couple other things. Most of the things that I mentioned are going to be, most of your interior things you need to worry about.
Yeah.
We're all going to be tucked in for the winter. It's if you keep a close eye on the HVAC system,
Hmm.
and monitor those things that I mentioned, you're going to be pretty well taken care of as far as the inside of the home.
Well, great. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us some winter and cold weather tips around for our homes. And thanks for just spending time with me today. I will
You're
talk to you later.
you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye.